Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone, in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Hanyu's words were heavy. Maybe having been carefree in our walk between countless worlds, even comparing our own lives to dice rolls, we had been sinful. I lived with you, my friend and daughter of 1,000 years ago. And when we came to the dead end of 1983, I committed another sin. I used my power to change your fate. Are you saying that in the very first world, you should have accepted the fate of Takano cutting me open and killing me? It may sound cruel to you, Rika, but that is how I feel right now. You know, I made a video once called, guys, like the Rick and Morty 100 years. 100 years, Ren and Mion. 100 years, Ren and Mion Adventures. I will put that in the link in the description. By the way, Rika Furude. You guys familiar with Rick and Morty? The Prestige? The episode where Morty finds out he's been prestiging himself? Yeah. I'll include that clip. I gotta write things down. I'm not gonna remember all this. Okay, so... The Prestige... And there was another Rick and Morty. Oh yeah, the 100 Years Rick and Morty. 100 Years Ren and Mion. Yeah, Rika Furude has... You guys remember the Prestige. The Prestige from Rick and Morty. Watch that clip from Rick and Morty. And now think about Rika as Morty. Then again, I made a joke about 100 Years Ren and Mion, where Rena is Rick and Mion is Morty. I'll include 2 links in the description. Heck, another joke I made before is, you guys know the scene like, you fucked with squirrels, Morty! Motoko, the squirrel girl from Blaze Blue, the fighting game. Just saying. You fucked with squirrels, Morty! But yeah, I'm just saying, Rick and Morty is never parodied. Higurashi. Now, don't be wrong. I still want the creator of this game to make more. I still say I'm not going to play Umaneko, but it's like, it feels kind of tempting. But, I'm just saying this. I'm trying to will it into existence by, starting it. It's kind of like how Team 4-Star willed Dragon Ball Super into existence. Because, it brought out a lot of hype for Dragon Ball again, and out of that popularity, there was a interest for more Dragon Ball. Then again, as I wouldn't talk about Lunar, there's always more interest in more Dragon Ball. How well would Majin Yamcha do against base Vegeta in this Buu arc? Like, if you had Majin Yamcha. Instead of Pui. Also, Vegeta can't use lethal force. Or go Super Saiyan against him. But yeah, Rika Furude has basically been prestiging. So... here's the thing. Imagine, you fucked with squirrels, Rick and Morty, and then the hot girl from Blaze Blue. But I'm trying to, get granted, Rick and Morty's, Season 8 only has a couple more episodes to come out. I think Episode 7 came out a couple days ago of Season 8. I'm just saying, if this idea gets out there, maybe, just maybe, in season 9 of Rick and Morty, we might have an episode based off Higurashi. Imagine that. Imagine the Sanchez family. You know, Rick, Morty, Beth, Summer, Jerry, anyone else that's in that world. Hinamizawa syndrome. Imagine the characters in Rick and Morty of Hinamizawa's. Heck, imagine Dragon Ball Z with Hinamizawa syndrome. Like, imagine like Goku suddenly has Hinamizawa syndrome. What happens there? Or any anime. I just want more Higurashi. Though I don't know if the creator of this game will ever make more. But I'm just kind of like Rick and Morty has never done a parody of Higurashi. That could be interesting. I would be intrigued to see what Rick and Morty would do if they were trying to make a parody of this. But yeah, watch the scene of Rick and Morty, The Prestige, particularly the reveal. It's like 1.5 minutes long. Like I said, I'll put it. Like, there's a 17-minute video I did called 100 Years Rick and Morty. And I'll also put with that a link to the scene from the actual show. But the very top one will be The Prestige, where Rick explains the prestige. Like, you prestige yourself, Morty. Like, imagine that scene, but this is Rick and Rika is Morty. Or 100 years Rick and Morty, or 100 years Ren and Mion. In that situation, Rick is Rena, Rena is Rick, and Morty is Mion, and Mion is Rena. Is Rick. Is Morty. You guys know what I mean. 100 years Rena and Mion. But yeah, you've been prestiging yourself, Rika. I made light of the world I lived in, and I made light of the world you lived in too. I should have lived in earnest in the world where we were together. I should have welcomed it, no matter its end. Stop that. Wallowing in masochism might make you feel better, but it makes me unhappy. I said I didn't want to surrender to that fate, and that I'd fight on forever to achieve a much more wonderful life, and made this 100-year journey with you. We're at the end of it's absurd to come out with that now. You're just being sentimental. Aren't you just making light of this world too, which you and I built together over 100 years? Don't you think that's selfish? Your eyes are doing a thing. It is man's sin to save a dying animal, then bask in rapture. Your eyes are doing a thing, hanyu. We go up to the snowy mountain, we kill the beasts, and offer the numbers to the gods. After all this, you're saying it was my fate to die too? You've gone insane. I don't care what you say, the world we won is a result of our sweat and tears. You and I are the only ones who can understand how brilliantly it shines, and now you're rejecting it? Rika, please, let me get back on topic. Okay, I feel confused about what the topic was. Once I had my fill of this world with you, the 8th, I planned to disappear at the end of your life. It had nothing to do with the time you'd be alive for, so I never told you. But in that world, your mother is the 8th. That means I've already had contact with the world of man, was satisfied with how wonderful Hinamizawa had become, and have already left for a higher plane. In that world, I've already left. That's why I can't appear there. Does that mean... Wait. But that would mean that you actually spoke to our mom, Hanyu. That would mean the fact that I was using the name Hanyu should... And that would mean our mom knows we're not crazy. At least not in one sense, anyway. But there's a fragment of your world there, and it's in my mother. Which means this. Only my mother knows that she is the 8th. If I kill her, the contradictory force saying you can't appear here will vanish. Correct? That's right. Originally, it was an obvious fact that your mother is the 8th in that world. And killing her wouldn't necessarily change anything. But after you drifted here from another world, Rika, it would be like mooring a boat to dock. It was fortunate only your mother knew the truth. If a lot of other people knew, you would have had to kill them all. Okay, that's dark. It sounds also like you're giving permission to this. Wasn't the whole point of your spiel to be like... And again... I feel confused on your motivation. Especially if I'm going to say, hey, you know what, maybe I just want to live here peacefully. Maybe I'll start the club with the people at school and make the best of this world. I'm sure nothing unexpectedly bad won't happen. Like, we'll decide that we won't kill our mom to try to achieve the goal, and then and we'll try to live happily, and we'll spend some happy time, and then stuff will happen out of our control that we didn't see coming, and we'll see everyone get killed horribly. And we'll be super sad. And then even though we'll get our initial wish of getting Hanyu here and being able to actually go back to our original world, we will then be mourning the death of this one. I'm sure you wanted my opinion on whether you should kill your mother to return to the previous world or stay in this world. I did. This whole time I've been investigating what kind of world you're in, and when I found out what it was, I expected this day would eventually come. And I predicted you would grow indecisive and talk to me about it, and that you would want to choose a world based on the result of our discussion. Yes, because I value your opinion. Because I've spent a lot of time with you, and I feel you understand me, and because I respect you, and I consider you a friend that I think, one, knows what she's talking about, and two, I think you actually care about what's in my best interest. So I'm wanting reassurance, and I'm wanting, a second opinion of someone who I think actually cares about me. So I thought long and hard about how to guide you. Unlike the world of the gods, words in the world of man are narrow. No matter what words I choose, they will carry bias with them. I thought very hard about what words to say so that you would truly choose for yourself. And I still am. After all, you've left the answer in my hands. If I suggested you should choose this world, you would choose it. You would shift the responsibility of paying the price to me. What price? If it's just an issue of me saying, like, yeah, but at the end of the day, it's this. Okay, either say that you're not willing to make the choice and that you refuse to give it, like, that's fine. But at the end of the day, is if you yourself care and have a concern about what you think is best for me, you'd be like, hey, you should just stay in this world. Besides, we can't just, like, go back and prestige yourself to right before the bike accident. So technically the world that we originally came from can never exist again. So it's not like we can go back, technically. We can just try to reroll a world that's similar, but it's still different people. So it's still, it's not fixing anything. The only reason we'd go to another world and try to fix things would be if we fail to make this one work. But we're not just going to start homiciding everyone in this one in order to reset. That would be cowardly, and there is no worth in a life resulting from such a decision. As someone who's trodden countless worlds and left her footprints outside the world of man, you must make a responsible choice without relying on me. Okay, that's fine. With your own strength. I know that what you're trying to say, you couldn't bear me shifting the blame, and saying this happened because I did what you said. Decide your own life for yourself, easy enough to understand. I wanted to tell you this too. I was happy spending my life with you. Oh, that means a lot. Thank you, Hanyu. And through those countless worlds we walked together, I learned that Hinamizawa overflowed with kind and gentle cooperation. It had everything I wanted from the world. I wanted to say that even if you chose a world without me in it, and I was to disappear, I would still be happy. Hanyu, thank you. Hanyu had foreseen that this world would grow ever warmer for me, but Hanyu herself was in opposition to this world. Any amount of discussing this with Hanyu, who was from the previous world, would only make it more difficult to forsake that one. She had even anticipated that after discussing with her, I would need to make a decision from an impartial viewpoint. That's why she said that. She wanted to accept whatever fate Rika Furude's decision gave her. She didn't want me to worry about her and live in the world I liked the best. Let's say I did choose this world. The main point is this. I do feel like I'd be abandoning you, so I just want to make sure that, you're okay with that. But then again, you literally already said that without me having to ask. What would happen to you? Because of that world's rules, our long journey together would come to an end. For you, a life in that world, and for me, the fact that my time has already ended in that world, would be applied. Doesn't that mean you would disappear? But that's a really, really pleasant thing, Rika. You seem to think of it as me dying. And at first, I thought so too. That's the me in that world, you would die. But the hanyu of that world, she may have disappeared, but she was filled with joy. She spent her life with your mother, enjoying her time to the fullest. Your mother is still alive, but that world's version of me is having a wonderful dream, enveloped in kindness and a sleep from which she'll never awake. But this does mean something. It means that the hanyu of this world actually spoke to my mom the way you did to me, which means I should try to discuss with my mom, hey, what do you know about the name Hanyu? I'm sure that warmth, that comfort is like that of a mother's womb. Now that I know that, I actually wonder if you will choose that world for me. Are you serious? If you had lived for 1,000 years, Rika, you would understand that warmth. I could feel an ecstasy in Hanyu's words. Hanyu had lived for a millennium, and she understood that in a way I couldn't. You have to be joking. I'm just a kid. I'm only 100 years old. Of course I can't understand. Rika, would you please stop using me as a reason to run away from this choice? That was the truth. My old world and this one are being weighed on the scales of my heart. It isn't tipping even slightly toward either side. Trying to shift the responsibility for choosing onto Hanyu was just me being irresponsible. I mean, yeah, we can't expect her to make the choice for us, but it is good to at least talk to her. So, one, we're at least including her on that, and at least she knows that we do care about her. So that, she doesn't think we just, threw her to the side and didn't give a fuck about her. I can tell you everything about the world's construction to help you make your choice. Thank you. First, Keiichi Mabra, who told us many times that destiny could be broken, he did not transfer schools in this world. I figured that about you. I knew that for a while now. He wasn't in my class. For a time, Keiichi suffered the stress of his entrance exams, but unlike the previous worlds, he wasn't firing any toy guns at children. He strengthened his mind, endured the temptation, and finally overcame his mental weakness. Good for him. Right now he's trying to deal with the exams awaiting him as someone with firm pride in his breast, which means Keiichi's sin is absent, which is why he never moved here. Ren and Ryugu, too, never moved to Ibaraki, since their parents' company stayed in business. Therefore, the divorce didn't happen either. It's funny, we're going to have this long list of everyone had a happy ending, and none of the bad things ever fucking happened. And then we're going to decide, okay, we're not going to kill people and return to the previous world, and we're just going to make the best of this, and we're going to be all happy, and we're going to spend loving, happy time with her mom, and with Rena, and Mion, and Satoko. We'll all be the bestest of friends. Even Satoshi is there. And then, like, a nuclear bomb will drop, and everyone in all of Japan will die. Not like an even atomic bomb like Nagasaki or Hiroshima. Full-on hydrogen bomb. There won't be anything left. Either that, there'll be something horrible that happens to Tanagashi. We're going to see our mom get her stomach cut open and disemboweled by Yamamoto. King Yama from Dragon Ball Z. Hey, I still say Ox King, Chi-Chi's dad, is the son of King Yama and Princess Snake. And I would still say that King Yama himself would be the child of a Zero Kai and the Supreme Kai of Time. Supreme Kai of Time is from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and Zero Kai would be like, imagine a being that created the tree that made the Kais. Also, what if that Beast Gohan form? What if that's not a Saiyan transformation, but that's a transformation from the Zero Kai? Which would be King Yama's father, or the Ox King's grandpa, or Chi-Chi's great-grandfather, or Gohan's great-great-grandfather, or Pan's great-great-great-grandfather. But I'm just saying, we're having this whole setup like, okay, everyone had happy things, none of the horrible bad things ever happened, and we're going to decide we're going to live here, and we're going to give up on the other worlds, and we're just going to make this world happy. And we're going to be happy, and it's going to be the greatest time ever, and we're going to be happy, and we're going to feel all the happiness in the world, and everything will be great, and we'll feel content, and then everyone will die. Bad things will happen, people will come out with guns, start shooting people, we'll try to save them, and watch them all die, screaming in pain and agony. And then Hanyu will be here. And then we'll die too. And then we'll be in another world. And we'll be super sad about this one. Rena will feel no guilt. Rena had no sin either. Just was still Rena. On the day of the ceremony where the elder sister had her back tattooed, Mion Sonozaki and Shino Sonozaki didn't switch places. I see. I got the feeling the Mion schools seem different somehow. Oh, so the Mion at school is actually Shion. So the Mion currently at school is actually Shion. And the Shion from the previous stories is somewhere else in Okonomiya. That's cool. She always loved board games, but she talked about her little sister knowing more about them. I see. I get it. That's why the one didn't know English anymore. Gotcha. Mia didn't push her role as successor onto her younger sister, and now spends her days training to be head of her family. Shion too attends a distant school so she can support the family without getting in the way, and she's working her hardest as we speak. The sisters both felt guilty at switching on the day of the tattoo ceremony. If that didn't happen, then Mion and Shion had no sin. I don't think I need to go on, but Satoko Hojo doesn't carry the sin of patricide. Satoko grew closer with her stepfather, and they rebuilt their relationship. Because of that, she wasn't possessed by that terrible illness. The Hojo family didn't oppose the village, and they weren't even ostracized. Satoko had no sin. Well, for Satoko and her family, this would be their ideal world. For Satoko and her family. Wait, no. Isn't this the ideal world for everybody? Keiichi came to Hinamizawa because he had committed a sin, but in this world he didn't. And was right now living his very best. Rena avoided her sad fate, too. And never sinned. She called herself by her given name Rina and was living happily. Mion and Shino were leading happy lives, too. Without the tattoo incident, they were friendly sisters the way they'd been born. They were forced to live apart due to family matters, but that wouldn't be enough to tear them apart. For Satoko, this world was exactly the world of her dreams. Surrounded by the warmth of her family and big brothers, she was leading a bright and healthy life. This is the world that I, as her friend, should be wishing for the most. For Satoshi, well, this was the only world in which he still existed. In all the worlds I'd been to, this was the only one where he was alive. Satoshi couldn't exist anywhere but here. Also, our parents are alive, and also Satoko's parents are alive. And for this world was, maybe I had 0 friends compared to my old world that was very sad, but I could change that now through time and effort. Maybe I was sad Keiichi wasn't here, but Keiichi was living a resolute life in the place he originally lived. Instead, I had Satoshi. He wasn't the same as Keiichi, but he was kind and considerate. Also, we at least know of his existence. We can look him up on the phone book later. Or, since it's 1983, eventually something called the internet will exist. Even the club I was disappointed didn't exist could start the very next day, if I wanted it to. With the Hojo siblings, Mion, Rena, and me. And maybe my other classmates too? What would the club be like with so many people? I didn't think I'd be able to compare it to the fun we had with Keiichi and the rest. I knew I wouldn't be able to place one over the other. My parents were in this world, and I'd already learned how to interact with them as Rika Furude, who'd regained the love of her family. My parents were in the previous worlds. But I had lively roommates that wouldn't leave me feeling lonely. Satoko and Hanyu. If I chose this world, I'd have to say goodbye to Hanyu, the friend I'd spent 100 years with. Friend. No. If what Hanyu said was true, then she was my ancestor and a mother to me, which meant she was on the exact same level as my father and mother. She was my family. My parents and Hanyu were both very important to me. I couldn't possibly weigh them against each other. That world is the ideal world, born as someone's dream. Nobody related to you has sinned. It's a very, very pure, clear, beautiful, pure, clear, and beautiful world. I've already left that world, and Rika's life hasn't been corrupted, so I have no sin either. And you, Rika, you haven't corrupted your own life, so neither do you. Even Takano has no sin. Not a single person does. A perfectly white, blank world. That's right, and you can choose that now, Rika. Maybe this world is a valuable opportunity given to you at the end of your century-long journey by the god of fate, who even I have never met. They could have been a little more compassionate about it, which is why that god gave you the chance to go back to your old world too, by committing the gravest sin of matricide. You can choose to release yourself from this sinless paradise. Hanyu, you said your daughter killed you. What do you think of me repeating the act? If I were your mother, I would probably say this. If it made you happy, I would not spare my own life. It might be too early for you to understand, Rika, but it's a feeling only someone who has given birth to a child and become a mother could know. I was once a mother, so I understand. If you said going back to your old world would make you happy, your mother would gladly offer you her life. She couldn't. She's the one who wouldn't ever say that. She'd just scream, "Are you crazy?" and go into hysterics. But then I remember my mother's smile when we made curry together. Would it be so strange if such fearsome words came from her mouth? I don't regret my daughter killing me. Thanks to that, the sin she might have inherited was cleansed. If I had spared my own life, my daughter might have been persecuted, same as me. But have you ever thought about what the daughter who killed you felt? Sad face. Why do I want to make this into emojis? I feel like I would annoy people. I'd go on, I don't pop on Twitch or anything, but I imagine, what if I could just, have custom emojis of Hanyu's face? And people were like, what is this emoji? It's just it's sad, Oyoshiro-sama. It's easier to die, isn't it? You can wallow in devotion and virtue as you die peacefully. But the killer has to bear that cross forever. Didn't you say so before? Your daughter vowed to create a Hinamizawa where everyone wanted to help each other, all for your sake. And your daughter, over 1,000 years, went along with your sin. Maybe you shouldn't have died. I don't know what the sin you were bearing was, but you should have lived and fought. Fought so that your descendants wouldn't have to bear the sin. But you surrendered, and for 1,000 years your descendants have been bearing your cross. Right? I think we broke the god's heart. I mean, granted, you were saying that kind of stuff to us, but I kind of feel bad that I feel like I made Oyoshiro-sama sad. Hanyu was silent. That, without a doubt, was Hanyu's sin. It was easy to die for her daughter's sake, but her daughter's guilt would never heal. But when Hanyu answered, she remained undaunted. Then let me ask you, Rika, you who say I should have lived and fought, what will you do now in that world? Do you wish to live in that world, accepting the reality you are in, and always fighting the oddities different from your old world? Will you abandon that world that you gained after 100 years, stained in grime and sweat, and yet still beautiful? She was right. Maybe this world was beautiful, but that didn't mean the way my old world shone wasn't beautiful too. Why wouldn't it be? We'd won that fate after such a long journey. And even now you call that world which you gained at the end of a century your original world. So, however pleasant this world may be, shouldn't you throw it all away, fight away the desire to stay in this world, and return to your original one, even if you had to destroy this world, liberated from the sins of all related to you? Ugh. My daughter who tells me to fight, you too should fight. To fight is not to defeat and overcome obstacles before you. In the end, that is no more than a simple detour on the straight path before you. To truly fight is to make your own choices. At every choice in life, at every crossroads, people hesitate. Having one choice brightly illuminated and selecting it, such a predetermined choice is not a fight. When, no matter how many times you are presented with the choice, you choose the same one, it's inevitability. A real choice is when you truly think and worry, when you never know which you should choose. It is precisely the same as the choice between the red box and the blue box you spoke of once before. Will you choose the red box or the blue? To choose without guidance demands incredible courage and determination. That is a true choice. If you knew what was in the boxes, it would no longer be a choice. It is because you do not know what is inside that you can be satisfied with what it is in the box you choose. If you knew the contents of the other, it could lead to despair. Being left at a crossroads with no guidance and no hints is what it means to live. You may lazily continue to choose the right or knock over the sign and choose at random. You may also search carefully for hints, worrying over how beneficial the left or right would be, and remain at the crossroads forever. Thus, you would be able to accept the final result awaiting for your own responsibility, would you not? You would not grow old and go into your coffin wanting advice from your parents, would you? Worry, choose, and go forward. That is the fight. I earnestly worried and chose my own life. My daughters earnestly worried and chose their own lives. For each and every one of us, that is sacred. It is precious. The descendant 1,000 years later must not sully that. All who lived in that age were always beautiful. You must not speak of their lives using the values of later generations. Lastly, I'll tell you something very important. The no Mikoto no Ri's power that connects us will soon be lost forever. I will never again be able to interfere with that world. So this is the last night I'll be able to hear one of these helpful lectures. There is one more thing. The fragment that has appeared in your mother will lose its power forever when the sun sets tomorrow. Losing doesn't mean disappearing. It means you will forever lose the chance to take back that fragment of your own hands. Which means I need to make my decision about whether to go back to my original world by sundown tomorrow. There's no third option to put the choice off. No. You may also choose to flee that decision, purposely ignore the last moment you have to choose, and passively stay in that world. If you did, you would live that life differently than when you chose proactively. Whether or not I chose proactively was also whether or not I would accept this world. If I continued to live here without accepting it, I would drag along all the distress that I currently held forever. Compared to that, maybe it would be a lot better just to choose one over the other. But even that wasn't easy. Hanyu had said that very distress itself was the battle. I think what's going to happen is we're going to choose this world, and we're going to make the decision like, okay, we're absolutely against, killing anyone, let alone our mom, to go back to the other world. And then, bad things will happen that we have no control over. Now, Rika. Fight. Your fight will last until sundown tomorrow. But please, don't run away. Because whichever world you decide on, I know that world will be a wonderful one. Just like the world you gained after fighting for 100 years was. The world you choose after fighting through this, will become wonderful, I'm sure of it. So please, Rika, you mustn't choose one without fighting. People are never ever satisfied with the result of a choice they didn't struggle with. Thank you, Hanyu. I'll fight with this choice. If I can meet you again, it will be in our original world. And if it's this world, then take a good rest to heal your millennium of exhaustion. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. It was because of your strength that I mistook my own life for something I could do over as many times as I wanted. If that's who I am, then I feel like it would be strange somehow if I was living in my original world. It was easy for me to think that if I slipped up in any small way, I could just do it over. But that wouldn't make that world a wonderful one. In that sense, I understand just a little your sin of using your power on me when you shouldn't have. But that sin belongs to me too, for walking through such an easy life. As we traveled, again, Rick is also still responsible for the fucking prestige shit. Morty too, but still. As we traveled all those worlds, I called it re-rolling the dice, treating my own life without respect. I think that this world taught me the weight of that decision, so at the end, being able to choose a wonderful world either way means I really am lucky, right? I have no doubt that I'm the most fortunate person in all these worlds. Thank you, hanyu. Thank you for giving me your kind words until the very end, when I was just stupid and conceited. I'll worry over this with everything I have. I'll worry and worry and worry and grasp a really, really wonderful world. So thank you, hanyu. Hanyu, please, answer me. Ooh. The crystal ball was now quiet and cold in my hands, and gave off only a dull reflection of flashlight that illuminated me. I shed all the tears I could. I thought if I didn't, I would hesitate when it came time to choose. So I cried out everything I had, and I thanked her for our 100-year relationship, because, depending on my choice, I might never get to say those words again. Then I replaced the crystal ball on the altar, where it was now just a marble, slipped out of the storehouse, and crawled back into bed. There was no way I was going to sleep. At least that was what I thought until I wrapped myself in linens, felt the cool wind on my bare feet, and drifted off to sleep without realizing it. Rika Furude was going to sleep. I was going to sleep. Good night, everyone. Good night. Me. And the sun rose again on another wonderful day for Rika Furude. She took her first step, her first small effort to become friends with her classmates again. And at home, she was wrapped in her parents' love. And the sun, brightening her wonderful day, fell behind the mountains and disappeared. Long, long ago, there was a god who appeared before mankind. Bread rained down from the heavens. Some lamented it was not meat. Meat rained down from the heavens. Some lamented they preferred bread. God descended down from the heavens. Until I know what will make all happy, water shall rain down. Water rained down from the heavens. All lamented that their clothes grew wet. Fire rained down from the heavens. All lamented that their homes burned down. God descended from the heavens. Until I know what will make all happy. Nothing shall rain down. Nothing rained down from the heavens. Some lamented that God had abandoned them. Many things rained from the heavens. Some lamented that God would not make a choice. Huge rocks had rained down from the heavens. At long last there were none who lamented. Water rained down from the heavens. A passing traveler was grateful. God, thank you for the unexpected weather. With this my journey will never be dull. God said nothing and watched him leave. All for the best. God and dice should both be silent. Who? Do you know who I am, Rika-chan? Meep. Yes? Where am I? After hearing that answer, the nurse burst out of the room in sheer surprise. How rude. Well, where's Dr. Erie? Call him at once. Tell him Rika-chan has come too. My head hurts. Oh, thank goodness, thank goodness. Do you remember what happened? Meep, is this the clinic? Yes. While you were heading back to Hinamizawa with your friends, you had an accident, hit your head, and never woke up again. We feared your consciousness would never return. Thank goodness, oh thank goodness. Erie even had a few tears in his eyes as he spoke. I was still just a little scared. I wanted to make sure this was the world I knew so well, so I mustered my courage and asked Eri. Yes, all your friends were incredibly worried about you. Satoko-chan, of course, and Mabura-kun, and Mion-san, and Rena-san. Unfortunately, Satoshi-kun still hasn't reached a state where he can wake up yet. What? What? And my mother? Your memories must still be a little confused. That happens when you're unconscious for a long time. Is she dead? Yes, she died 2 years ago on the day of the Tanagashi. Were you dreaming your mother while you were asleep? Thank you. I'm fine now. Knowing that my mother is dead gives me a complex feeling. But there wasn't any doubt that this was the world I knew so well. And according to Eri, it had been a little over a month since the accident. But he said Satoshi. And telling me he'd be right back, he scrambled out of the room. And left in my hospital room with the voices of cicadas, I would do nothing but wander through my vague memories for a time. I was fooling around my bike while heading home from playing at the pool with everyone. I got hit by a car, right? But the world I woke to after that is still vivid in my mind. And if this is my original world, then after grappling with that difficult choice, I chose my old world and safely ended my long journey to return to it. Or was that all just a long dream I had? Like Eri said, while I was in a coma from the accident. I didn't know. Hanyu, are you there? Oh, that's good. Can you confirm if my dream actually existed or not, and what happened? Because didn't that dream end with me choosing to just live there? I am confused. Waking up in that world and not seeing you straight away was disheartening. Has something like that ever happened? I've always been the first one you saw whenever you woke up. Oh, so it was all just a dream. None of that ever actually existed. It was all literally a figment of my imagination. Hanyu speaks to me while wearing an affectionate expression, but her saying that at length just makes me remember the world just a few moments ago, because for the first time, Hanyu wasn't there when I woke up. Here's the thing. If all of that was, Okay, 1. Did I actually go to another world? Did I still talk to you there? And then does God here have memory loss? Did you forget? Was I actually in another world and you lost track? And also, why does Satoshi exist in this world? I mean, that's cool, it's nice, but I feel like there's confusion there. Also, did that happen? Heck, even if it didn't happen, and it was all in my head. 1, was I just talking to a version of you based entirely off of my own imagination, off of what my impression of you is? Or was my brain somehow connected to your subconscious, so a part of your subconscious was talking to me, so it was actually you without you being aware of it? So either you were actually talking to me and you forgot, or part of your mind slipped out and talked to me without you ever even knowing in the first place. Hanyu, that world, was it a dream or was it real? I don't really understand what you're saying, Rika. Did something happen? And here's the thing. 1, it could be that, it didn't happen, it was all a dream, and Hanyu really doesn't fucking know. Or we decided to try to live there peacefully, and then there was some tragic accident, like a car accident or something, and we watched our friends die, like there was at the Watanagashi, and somehow there was a car accident and our mom died. But even then, I don't know. Are you serious? Rika, I don't understand what you're talking about. Was Hanyu playing dumb, or was she telling me the truth? I couldn't tell. Then, what was the world I was just in? A dream? A dream. Why did the music stop? Hanyu answered immediately, and hearing that convinced me. That sinless world was no dream. A dream? A dream. a dream. I feel like the enunciation of that makes a big difference. Like what part of the word you accentuate. That sinless world was no dream. Then I killed her? With my own hands? My mother had the fragment. I shouldn't have been able to return to my original world without killing her. If I was here, that meant I killed her. And then after I killed her, I had to kill myself, like usual, to send myself to the world of the gods. And conveniently, when I die, it goes back through my memories right before the event and tears them apart. So it was only natural my memories of personally killing my mother didn't remain. Trembling, I looked at the palms of my hands. They were pure white, pale and bloodless. No, that was just it. That alone made me remember the feeling spread across my hands. That warm, sticky, sliming sensation. My fragment welled up inside me. Something inside me was desperately holding back the memories of that alien world, crying out for some reason, desperately holding them back, because if they spilled out, they would surely swallow me whole. Rika? You need to calm down. Why is the angry face supposed to calm me down? I mean, we are taking this seriously. I suppose that's the appropriate face. It also means like when Rena was seeing the red eyes in the dark of aliens, she was actually seeing Hanyu. And then Rika showed up. Rika, you need to calm down. Hanyu put her hand to my forehead, and I felt as though something was grabbing my lungs in a fist. I sensed a suffocation like something was squeezing the breath out of me. But it was squeezing those feelings about to swallow me up too, and they couldn't come up any further. In exchange for the choking sensation, I gulped down the rising emotions, beginning to steadily regain my composure. Hanyu realized it and took her hand away. Get her. Have you calmed down? You were asleep for a long time, so you must be confused. You should do as Eri says for a while. Take your medicine and get some bed rest. Hanyu, wait, tell me. Was that world? Look, everyone's arrived. I'll only be in the way, so I'll disappear for a while. Hanyu! I started to hear many footsteps running down the hallway. Hanyu whirled around as though pivoting on her heel and vanished. In exchange, the hospital door clattered violently open, and my beloved club members, friends, appeared. Didn't we say Satoshi was still passed out? But he wasn't... What's happening? Rika? Rika! Satoko. Hey, Satoko, Rika-chan, you just woke up. You shouldn't be hugging her. It's okay, Kiichi-kun. Thank goodness, thank goodness. Clinging to me, Satoko fell to her knees on the spot. And started bawling without hesitation. Welcome back, Rika-chan. We had faith you'd come back to us. Well, also one, you said Satoshi was passed out. So how is he alive? Also. And the other version of events, I got my head crushed like a watermelon. And this one, I just got a really hard concussion. Yeah, because when we all believe in one thing, a miracle is sure to happen. That's how we beat Takano-san in that crazy battle, right? Because we all believed in a miracle. Oh, wait. Am I still in the other world and this is a dream? Everybody believed that you'd come back for sure, Rika-chan. We came to visit every day. We knew for sure you'd wake up. So we came every day. Oh, thank goodness. Coach says your memories are a little bit muddled. You didn't forget this old man and the rest of us, right? I know who Satoko and Ren and Rikichi are, but I don't know who you are, me. Nippa. I guess you're alright. That was something I couldn't ever have asked before. This was something I couldn't ever have asked before. But just to make sure this absolutely was my original world, I asked anyway, pretending my memory was still confused. Is Satoshi not coming? Satoko gave a somewhat lonely smile and spoke. Nini still hasn't come back after running away 2 years ago, remember? But didn't he say Satoshi was... Unfortunately, Satoshi-kun still hasn't reached a state where he can wake up yet. Yeah. What was this? Rika, you can be so forgetful. Her expression made my chest tighten. She was definitely the Satoko from my original world. I see. Your memories do seem a little confused. He said it wouldn't last long and that it was nothing to worry about. It's the same as when you get a phone call that wakes you up and say strange things while half asleep. Are we asleep right now? Yeah. I mean, you were sleeping in for almost a month after. After this whole month, I felt like I was having a dream. Oh, having a fabulous time, I'm sure, in spite of how worried we were. It was a very mysterious world, I think. It was Hinamizawa just like here, but a bunch of things were different. First of all, Keiichi wasn't here. Hey, what? Why do you have to leave me out? Because in that world, that incident with the gun didn't happen. In that world, you didn't have all those regrets. No, that wasn't all it was. What it was. I realized this would be my only chance to confess to my own sin. Everyone listened, I told them about that world. Whenever some small thing was different, they'd respond one way or the other about it, but they listened to me seriously. So the reason I'm here is because I weighed the world, that world, and this one, and chose this world, I think. You probably saw the other side of the river Styx, like a near-death experience. If you had chosen that world, you probably wouldn't have come back here. Yes, if I chose that one, I don't think I would have returned. We all believed you'd come back, Rika-chan. And you believed it too. So that means our hands reached each other. I think you were doing your best to come back to us while you were asleep. What a good girl. Keiichi grinned and patted my head, but it seemed like he was mistaking what I meant. I hadn't returned. I had compared that world and this one and chosen this one. Why had I chosen this one? Though it sounds like we chose the other world and tried to live peacefully. I think what happened is we went to school, we did the club, we made good friends, we had a wonderful time with our family, and then the Tanagashi happened that same night, and after the sun went down, everybody died for some reason. And then it was super traumatic. Why had I chosen this world? Because this one was more comfortable to be in. Satoko was always with me, everyone in the club was here, and they were nice to me and spoiled me. But all that was still a world built on top of everyone's sins and misfortune. In other words, I had chosen to sacrifice the others for my own happiness, shamelessly, self-centeredly, and selfishly. Everyone was fulfilled in that world. Only I wasn't. But I knew that I, too, could be happy there if I put in the hard work. But at the very end, I had chosen this world. I chose the world where I could rest on my laurels, atop the suffering and tears of my friends. That sounds like a very interesting world. Thank you. You wanted us all to be happy even if it was just a dream. Rena smiled as she said that, only she seemed to understand what I really meant by what I'd said. But, you know, if I got the chance to choose between those two worlds, I think this world would have been the right choice. But why? It's true that my mother's divorce was really sad for me. It changed a lot. But thanks to that, I learned a lot too. So, the Rhina in the other world you talked about probably isn't as human as this Rhina is. You thought I was an exemplary person, even as Rhina in your dream, but when I was actually Rhina, I wasn't a very respectable person. What I mean is, when my mother got divorced, it was really hard and sad for me, but now I can accept it. Since maybe it was just one of the trials a person has to go through in their life. It's true that the trials of life of failure make a person grow. Yeah, I get what Rena means too. I didn't go to Hinamizawa in that world, but I was probably a total loser. I regret that incident more than anything I've ever done, and I won't forget it as long as I live. I'll probably have to reflect on it till the day I die. But like Rena said, thanks to that incident, I learned a lot of important lessons. Thinking about whether there was a world where I could make it so past incidents never happened might be attractive. But I don't think about that stuff. I think they're all important foundations that pile up to make Keiichi Mabara here today. Oh. But that... To make the Keiichi Mabara it's here today. Oh, but that goes for me as well. I was a spoiled child before, and I would have stayed that way as long as Nini was here. Having a world where Nini would never leave home is indeed an attractive invitation, but staying with him and continuing to be a spoiled child would mean nothing. So I would choose this world, because now I can be proud of myself and wait for Nini to return. Do you all really think that? I worried so much thinking I had to erase my sin, and now you're rejecting the choice of a beautiful world where those sins don't exist? Yep. I think this world is more valuable. But why? Because the future of this world was something we all worked together to achieve. The people in that world were just idling their time away, right? Idling away, but is living without sin a sin in itself? It's not, but this one is still more valuable. I think the flowers that grow up in a greenhouse without difficulty are beautiful, sure, but maybe wildflowers that withstand the rain and wind and heat and cold have something more to them than beauty. I'm only talking about how important that is. Is there a reason to be ashamed of a beat-up wildflower? But if you asked it to choose whether to grow up in a greenhouse or a field... Oh, I get it. That's what you've been getting wrong all along, Rika-chan. Meep? We're all wildflowers that sprouted in the field, aren't we? Once we have bloomed, there is no point in comparing them to an impossible, imaginary future. Rika-chan, you're talking from a point of view of something higher than a flower, something not human. Which of those two worlds is happier? The only ones that can debate that are the gods, who can go between those worlds. But for the human named Rika-chan, there's only one world, wait. I mean, you're in both worlds, but you can't go between them. The wildflower you and the greenhouse you both exist, and I think both of them are living proudly, following the destiny of their worlds. The wildflower saying things like, I wouldn't have struggled with anything if I grew up in a greenhouse, doesn't make sense to begin with. We're all flowers. Whether we plant our roots and sprout, we do our best to grow and bloom. Wishing you were born into a super rich family is what losers say in their sleep. If you have time to fantasize, you should start putting in effort and find a cheap supermarket so you can save up change. Yeah, Satoko is proud of herself, so even if there was a world where she was super rich, I think you could compare them and not find either of them to be worse than the other. Well, I must say, if I had to choose, I'd prefer to be super rich. I understand. I would like to be rich too. I wonder, Rika-chan, are you still having second thoughts even after waking up in this world? Like whatever this was really right, like whether this was really the right choice? Are you thinking that maybe the other one would have been good too? Those words were probably the root of these cheerless feelings. I love this world, but I couldn't help but be troubled given the depth of my own sin of abandoning that world and insisting everyone else be sinners. Shouldn't I have chosen the world for the sake of everyone I loved? They have unanimously decided that this world was better, but in a way it was just acceptance, since they hadn't been granted the choice of selecting one of the two. That was why everyone thought positively and went with this world. If they could have actually chosen, they'd all be conflicted too. It must be hard, so that's why the sadness deep down won't heal Rika-chan. And yet only Rena seemed to have figured everything out. I know, I'll explain to you like a game, so that you can understand too, Rika-chan. Mi-chan, you brought candy with you today, right? Huh? Sure, why? What was she going to do? Then Rena grabbed it with both her hands and stuck them out towards me. Here, Rika, it's a present. I wonder which of these hands is better's. Which is? Which is? Meep, you won't make me play a punishment game if I guess wrong, will you? How? There's nothing like that. Don't worry, just choose. Even considering how we usually did club games, there really were no hints at all. I looked at the size of Rena's fist, but I couldn't begin to guess which had the candy in it. Oh, whatever. Time to test my luck. Then I chose this fist. Then I choose this fist. This one? Here. Rena opened her fist and revealed candy. I must have made the right choice. Aha, congratulations. Here, say ah. Ah. Is it good? It was a standard but nostalgic taste of strawberry milk. As it shrunk as I rolled it around in my mouth and sucked on it, I couldn't help but give a smile. It's good. Nipa. Are you? Nipa. Are you happy? Then Rika-chan's world is happy. I'm really happy that I won your choice game. Victory is sweet. Hey, Rika-chan? Why do you think you won? Meep? Rena showed me her other palm, the one I didn't choose. Ah, in her hand she was holding 2 pieces of candy. In other words, the one I chose was wrong. At that moment, and this was really obvious, but I immediately realized how merry I had been feeling. That feeling right now is close to how you're feeling about this, isn't it? As soon as you compare different worlds, you're already overstepping your bounds as a person. It's God's job to worry over which is better, not ours. We only ever have one world given to us, and we're made so that we can find happiness in it. In your dream, Rika-chan, you were a god who could go between worlds, which made you feel like that. But you can't worry about what was in the other hand. I was a witch who had lived 100 years in countless worlds. That was exactly why I had always believed I was special, someone who would overcome millions of choices to gain happiness. That I was able to gain happiness, that I was sure to. But I had it completely backwards. I wasn't any better than anyone else. When it came to finding happiness, I was the worst of them all. Then I remembered how Hanyu had so curtly and quickly told me the other world was a dream. It wasn't a dream, but now that I'd chosen, this was reality, and that really was nothing more than a dream. When a cat is in a box, you can imagine 2 futures, one where it's alive and one where it's dead. But when you open it, there's only one future. The other future, at the moment, becomes no more than a dream. The one who opens it and accepts the future inside and lives. Worrying about which of the 2 futures in the box was better was a job for those who weren't human, those who could interfere with the contents. As a mere human being, I had awkwardly trodden in the world of the gods, which is why I'd misunderstood some important things, wasn't it? In that world, Hanyu had regrets. She regretted having used the power of the gods to interfere with my life, and now I finally understood why. She was quite clear about it. She clearly said that the people had to live the best they could in their world. I had to stop being this witch. Yes, I knew now that I was not the witch named Berncastel, but Rika Furude. My copy had lived for 100 years, bending fate to her whim, and maybe she still exists in some higher dimension than this human world, but that was no longer who I was. I was Rika Furude. In this world I would live, and in this world I would seize happiness. I mustn't use that power ever again, which meant I had to make sure not to treat my own life without respect from now on, which meant, guess I should be more careful about traffic accidents. Huh? Ha ha ha. You're right, ha ha. How? You're right. Never mess around while you're riding your bike again. Yes, you are absolutely right. Children who don't know something that obvious have no right to pretend to be witches. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Alright everyone, let's leave things at that for today. Rika-chan is still very weak right now. You can all come visit again tomorrow, so let's let her have some rest. Coach appeared and clapped his hands together, but my friends weren't finished saying goodbye just yet. Rika, are you alright now? Thank you. Rena explained everything to me better than your tied-up tongue ever could. I'm okay now. The next time you lose your life, I'll have to accept that fate. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that too. Children who mess around the road might get hit by cars every day in Japan. It just happened to occur in Hinamizawa, too. If I have something to be frustrated about, it's not crossing the road on a red light from now on. But are you okay with that? You used to throw tantrums about how lonely you'd be without me. I'm alright now. I made a very important friend. Really? Who is it? Introduce me. I'm not telling. Oh. I see. That means I'm Rika Furude, right? If you think so, Rika, then you are. Thank you. Thank you for what? A bunch of things. After Uri admonished everyone else, they all glumly got ready to go home. Hanyu too was about to disappear, but I clapped my fist into my hand as if remembering something and spoke to her. Hey, Hanyu! What is it? In that other world, I'd promised I'd fill the refrigerator with cream puffs once I returned to my original world. But that was a dream, so I can forget about it too, right? Ooh, you're breaking character. Rika, I'll bring you something tomorrow when we visit. Is there anything you want to eat? Rika-chan likes spicy things, doesn't she? She likes going to the Korean food fair at the department store in Gogoro, doesn't she? I wonder if they sell super hot kimchi there. Oh! You have to taste and feel everything I taste and feel. It's like, should I get cream puffs or ghost peppers, Hanyu? What should I get? Oh. I want something sweet. Sweet. Okay, what kind? Then let's all go buy a shortcake. The ones at the Angel Mort are especially delicious. Then I'll go with some cream puffs from Angel Mort. Cheap ones are fine. I just want to eat a lot. It's a good thing you're energetic enough to eat. It doesn't matter what kind of food. If you eat a lot, you'll be back to normal. It's junk food, though. Now then, everyone, visiting hours are over. Everyone began to leave. Hanyu, too. Now we're even, right? I didn't do you any favors. Right. That was a dream, after all. Good night, Rika. Sweet dreams. Good night, Rika Furude. It could be that we wind up getting both options, or we get to see both variations. Like, okay, though the other variation we didn't get to see a lot of depth in. Good night, Rika Furude, and please treat the future you want with care. Thank you. Oh, right. After I get out, the first thing I'll do is go visit my parents' grave. I realized something just now. Why I had to kill my mother to return to this world. The fragment coming out when I killed her, or whatever, wasn't the problem. Choosing a world in which my mother wasn't here was already killing her. Until now, I had chosen this world without feeling any sorrow for it, for killing my mother every time. That was what you wanted me to realize, wasn't it? The sins you feel in me. That's probably one of them. I had stopped respecting my parents, and I finally realized that in the other world. Rika, thank you for realizing. I feel as though the most important sin I felt from you has been cleansed. It'll be okay, Rika. Your hands are not stained with your mother's blood. That was all something I showed you because I wanted to be mean to you for a little. All just a dream. May you forget all of it when you awaken from your slumber. Good night, Rika. Sleep deep, as I dream of how you will color your life in the future. Beyond the Sticks. Finish the higurashi chapter. Well,